what a joke the media are in this country, and not just the liberal media, the so-called conservative media too, in my view. We have a president who's putting on brass knuckles, pounding the crap out of our liberty. And it's either a passing story, it's not a story at all. I mean, this is really unbelievable to me. And I'm supposed to sit here and worry about whether John McCain was a war hero or not? We all know he was a war hero. Trump knows he was a war hero. Okay, great. Now what? We have a president of the United States who hates our war heroes. We have a president of the United States who does nothing effective about the Veterans Administration when 250 million vets died before they could get care. We have a president who's currently gutting our active military today. No, but we're going to talk about anyway. I really want you to listen to this because this affects you directly. And this is Paul Sperry writing in the New York Post here. And he is a great reporter, always has been. He's also with the Hoover Institute. A key part of President Obama's legacy will be the Fed's unprecedented collection of sensitive data on Americans by race. This is your racist president. The government is prying into our most personal information at the most local levels, all for the purpose of, quote, racial and economic justice, unquote. Unbeknownst to most Americans, Obama's racial bean counters are furiously mining data on their health, home loans, credit cards, places of work, neighborhoods, even how their kids are disciplined in school, all to document quote-unquote inequalities between minorities and white. This Orwellian-style stockpile of statistics includes a vast and permanent network of discrimination databases, which Obama already is using to make, quote, disparate impact, unquote, cases against banks that don't make enough prime loans to minorities, schools that suspend too many blacks, cities that don't offer enough Section 8 and other low-income housing for minorities, and employers who turn down African Americans for jobs due to criminal backgrounds. I said the other day, and I want to underscore this, more and more, the purpose of your central federal government is to advance the cause of the Democrat constituencies. More and more, the cause of the federal government is to punish, through taxation and regulation and stuff like this, Republicans. I don't think there's any question about it. So the Democrat Party and the federal government, as I've said for years, one's linked to the other. One's an appendage of the other. That's what it's become. Big Brother Barack wants the databases operational before he leaves office, and much of the data in them will be posted online. All right, let's stop right here. We need to insist that every Republican running in the Republican primaries for president promise to clean out this data and destroy those servers. Throw them in the Potomac River. Be done with them. We need an assurance from every one of them that they will destroy these databases. There must not be this kind of information tracking on individual American citizens. Period. This is police state tactics. This is not a joke. So civil rights attorneys and urban activist groups will be able to exploit them to show patterns of racial disparities and segregation, even if no other evidence of discrimination exists. The granddaddy of them all is the so-called Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing Database, which the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, rolled out earlier this month to racially balance the nation, zip code by zip code. It will map out every U.S. neighborhood by 4 racial groups: white, Asian, black or African American, and Hispanic/Latino, and publish geospatial data pinpointing racial imbalances. All without any legal authority whatsoever, and all without any attention other than this program, which has been hammering this for weeks. HUD proposes using non-white populations of 50% or higher as the threshold for classifying segregated areas. So if you don't have in your community 50% or more non-white, then your community is discriminating as a matter of fact. Yeah, let that sink in. Federally funded cities deemed overly segregated will be pressured to change their zoning laws to allow construction of more subsidized low-income housing in affluent areas in the suburbs and relocate inner-city minorities to those prominently white areas. HUD's maps, you know what, this is like Mao's China, the Long March. I said the other day, it's like Thomas More's Utopia, where people are going to be moved around. You're not even looked at as human beings. You're a group, a racial group, an ethnic group. And the federal government will now determine how you live and where you live by putting pressure on local and state governments. And they'll go to court and they'll be backed up. Remember what I said, the federal government now exists to advance the agenda for the Democrat Party and its constituent groups. Folks, this isn't a soft tyranny. This is tyranny. Look around. This is it. This isn't a coming police state. This is a growing police state. Look around. This is it. Don't pay attention to these idiots on cable TV and the other idiots in this business or whatever if they're not focused on the real stuff. It's happening right now. We have to speak out now. Federally funded cities deemed overly segregated will be pressured to change their zoning laws to allow construction of more subsidized housing in affluent areas. HUD's maps, which use dots to show the racial distribution or density in residential areas, will be used to select affordable housing sites. So the federal government will say, put it here, or we're cutting off all your money. Put it here. No, you're not going to build that there. No, there's not enough blacks here, not enough Latinos. We need more whites over here. No, put it here. Do it here. Do it here. HUD plans to drill down to an even more granular level, detailing the proximity of black residents to transportation sites, good schools, parks, and even supermarkets. If the agency's social engineers rule the distance between blacks and these suburban amenities too far, municipalities must find ways to close the gap or forfeit federal grant money and face possible lawsuits for housing discrimination. Civil rights group will have access to the agency's sophisticated mapping software and will participate in city plans to re-engineer neighborhoods under new community outreach requirements. This isn't even busing. This isn't even close to busing. This is 1,000 times worse. Worse than social engineering busing. Absolutely incredible. I'm not done. I hope you'll stay around and find out what's happening to your country, to your community. Mark, this is all so depressing. You know, the funny thing is, societies fall, and then people say, why didn't anybody tell us? What were they doing? It's a famous line about bread and circuses when it comes to the collapse of the Roman Empire and how the Senate was basically eating and playing and having a great deal of fun. I feel that way in this country. We have many people who are blessed with important positions, some in public office, some not, some behind microphones, who just waste our time. Waste our time. But this isn't a time to waste. This is a time to rally. This is a time to pay attention. Turning my show off isn't going to fix a damn thing.